What's up, Geeks and Gamers? It's Odin coming back with a video, and today we've got the box office breakdown for this past weekend, which saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness cross $800 million worldwide, and also saw the debut of Downton Abbey, A New Era. So let's go ahead and talk about those films as well as other films and where they currently stand in relationship to their budgets and box office. So, of course, the biggest movie continues to be, and that's, of course, going to be up until next weekend, as we have finally, after a couple of years, one of my most anticipated films set to finally come out, which is going to be the next Top Gun film, Top Gun Maverick, which will definitely take the #1 spot next weekend, and also other films set to come out this summer for competition. At this point, Doctor Strange continues after 3 weeks to be dominant globally, as, again, as this article points out, has crossed $803.2 million after just 3 weeks. At this point, they suspect that the film will be somewhere around $950 million worldwide by the end of its run. And they also want to remind everyone that this is without China and Russia, which means that this film could have done so much better had it been released in Russia. But don't forget about how amazing Disney is by not allowing their films to be played in either location, even though it's because China wouldn't allow the film to be played there. And for Russia, let's just be honest, they were doing that for political points and not for any other reason. Going into the actual numbers themselves, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, as you can see, had made $31.6 million this weekend. So very impressive numbers there for the film. Still 49% hold from the previous week, 4,500 screens, no change. Disney still has a lot of confidence clearly in this film. Downton Abbey, A New Era, making $16 million in its debut in the domestic market at over 3,800 screens. So not nearly as strong as the first, about half of what the first one had made. But if this cost about the same amount that the first film had made, then this film is well on its way to breaking even. The Bad Guys, $6.1 million, a 13% hold from the previous week after 5 weeks, only losing 83 screens. Still very strong numbers here for the Universal animated film, and they clearly have a lot of confidence still in it. Saw the Hedgehog 2 coming in at the #4 spot with a 15% hold, still making a lot of money, even after being out for 7 weeks, only losing out 173 screens this week, making another $3.9 million. The new film from Alex Garland, Men, which based on the trailers either going to be really good or really, really bad and really, really agenda pushing. $3.2 million from this A24 release in its debut, while Everything Everywhere All at Once at A24, making $3.1 million after 9 weeks of release. And so that just shows how strong this film is doing, that even up against its own studio competition, again, 3.2 versus 3.1, a 6% hold after 9 weeks. This little film right here has just done some wonders. I'm still amazed that the film is doing as well as it is, and it's basically at its break-even point. I would not doubt, especially since it's making another $3 million after this, its 9th week of release. All it needs to do really is make another million or so for it to hit its break-even point, and I don't think that that is going to be that hard, especially since it is the superior multiverse film that is currently in release. In its 2nd week of release, as you can see, not even really on the charts. As far as the top 5 are concerned, coming in at the #8 spot is Universal's Firestarter, the remake, $1.9 million, a 50% drop, adding 1 screen. Interesting addition there. But even with a 50% hold, which is not the worst in the world, because this had a day and date release on Peacock, and also because it's really not making all that much money, and is not expected to make its money back, even with a very low budget. Looking at the worldwide numbers, as you can see, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, $803.1 million. Downton Abbey, $51.7 million. The Bad Guys at $183.3 million. Sonic the Hedgehog at $368 million. New film Men, only getting some domestic numbers for this, at $3.2 million, and also no budget. Everything Everywhere All at Once, up to $61 million worldwide. Very exciting news there. And Firestarter, $10.5 million is where that currently stands. Looking at the charts, because, hey, we like to do some box office charting here on the channel. Based on the numbers for Downton Abbey, we don't have a budget, so we can't really break that down Neither can we break down 2,000 Mules, which I'm sure some people had some interest in, especially when it made over $1 million just through Rumble's platform. New films like Men, $3.2 million, still don't have the budget for, but Firestarter, with its second week of release, we can now make some projections. So with a $10.5 million second week, that was around a 55% drop worldwide. It is expected to make somewhere between $15 and $21 million by the end of its run. However, the actual net gain and net losses for the film are expected to be somewhere around $8 to $5 million. So not expected to make its money back, currently sitting around $11 million in the red. Doctor Strange 2, at its third week of release, is now at $181 million in net gain profits. Again, does not make the film good, but does make the film successful, and I still do believe that the film is well on the way to making $1 billion. I know that people keep sending me their tomes, as it were, on their own philosophy on the box office, and though I appreciate them, I just don't have the time to read through them all. So yeah, just letting y'all know, if you send me a tome about your own philosophy on the box office, etc., again, I'm glad that you're as interested in this as I am, but I just don't have the time to read them. Anyway, $803.1 million, very impressive numbers here for a very mediocre and really less than mediocre film. Northman, still a financial loss. Bad Guys, right around the break-even point, and it's going to, again, get to that point very quickly. And then Everything Everywhere All at Once, as I mentioned, only needs to make a little bit more to actually hit its official break-even point. As you can see, 861,000 in the red, which was already at the point where you could probably have written that off. The studio could have written that off and still been able to make some profit. But it is, of course, very, very close, and it will be able to pass that number, I would say, easily by the end of next weekend. But those are the numbers as they stand. What are y'all's thoughts about any of the films that I mentioned? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, slap that fire button on Odyssey. Y'all are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.